All right, let's delve into this a little bit further. And let's use the last Hermetic principle, which is that of gender. Now, gender is just simply the statement that there is a male and female aspect to absolutely everything. That the male aspect is the directive aspect, that is what causes things to happen, and the female portion is the part that creates, that the creation flows from and through. Now, taking at a very simple physical level, think about a battery, all right? It's actually the negative pole from which all the electrical charge comes from, all right? In an atom, it's the electrons, which are negative energy, from which the determination is that of what type of atom it's going to be. This principle of gender exists on everything and in everything, no matter what level of existence we are talking about. When we were talking about changing your vibrations, we're talking about changing the feminine portion by direction from the masculine portion. When I talked about living consciously. All right, so if we look at everything like this, you'll see that this is present in absolutely everything. Think about that pool or pond that I talked about way back when we talked about the mental universe and correspondence. That tossing that rock into that glassy surface that produced the effect, okay, was done by a directive force because you decided to do that. So when your conscious mind sits back and says, I want to create an image that is visible on my mind's eye, or just simply says, I want to do this, and I'm thinking this, and I'm going to act this way, it is directing the feminine aspect for things to happen, okay? So it controls and sets into motion the feminine aspect of any type of creation, whether it's on a physical level or a mental level. So that's why it's so important when I was talking about during the principles of vibration and cause and effect to live consciously, to direct that feminine portion and to take control of it. Now, what that means again is that we're going to go back and it's going to sound like being repetitive, but take a look at this process. It helps explain a lot of things. Let's take an example of something that's supposed to be supernatural. That is telepathy. Telepathy is merely the projection from someone's positive or masculine portion of their consciousness, which ends up going to the other person's receptive portion or feminine aspect of their consciousness. It controls a lot of things. It controls what you think, and again, it's going to sound repetitive because we're going to go back and talk about being positive and being polarized, but here again, this is how the process takes place. Everything that we have talked about to this particular point, we have been, without even mentioning it, have been talking about the principle of gender. The part of your mind that thinks, that's conscious, that's thinking right now, well, this sounds right, or maybe you're even thinking, well, no, this is too far-fetched. That's the masculine portion of you. It's the I. It's the one that does the thinking. It's the I. It's the masculine portion. The images that are produced on your mind's eye or within your vibration that are caused by that, okay, is that feminine portion. It all winds together. It's like I've mentioned before, with the risk of sounding redundant, but it's so important. All of this takes place as an intermix of all these principles. You can't create a thought without creating a vibration, which creates some degree of polarity, which creates, is rhythm going to make you swing, or are you going to take control of it? And it takes its chain, it creates a chain of cause and effect, whether it's on a physical level and what you cause other people to create, or It's within yourself. No event, no activity, no phenomena can take place unless all of these principles are involved. These are universal laws. I hope you can see how they are tied together, and I hope you begin to see how you can begin to control them. There is not anything about this that is easy, because that polarity that you have created for yourself, that vibration that you have created for yourself, is now something that, unless you knew about this and unless you've been, in control of it, you've created a vibration, you've created a degree of polarity, and through cause and effect, you are now going to have to change it. What is the single most difficult thing to do? Change. You are so used to doing things in a certain way. You are so used to thinking in a certain way and acting in a certain way. And now I'm saying to you, you have to do that differently. You have to take control. You have to break the habit in the way that you think if it's negative and hang on to what you think of that's positive. You're using vibration. You're using cause and effect. You're establishing this degree of vibration, which is polarity, and you're doing it through gender. All of this comes together and helps create who you are, what you are, and where you're headed in the evolutionary chain. Now, this is no easy task, as I said, because you've got to take control. If you have been, that's great, but if you're not, you have a task in front of you. It takes commitment, it takes dedication, and it takes a will that has got to be very strong. And that in itself is a good thing if you can develop that type of will. This is everything that I have gone through in the course of things has been, and I'll be honest with you, very, very superficial. If we were to sit here and talk about these nuances and how one affects the other in this way and this way, and how vibration and cause and effect work with this, and we could go into detail upon detail upon detail, we'd be here for an awful long time. And it's not something that you can readily do in a spot like this. So you have to go out, find the information, put it to practice, and watch how it affects your daily life. If you can have the discipline, if you can have the will to work these principles and help yourself with them, you're on a really great path and you're headed in a very positive direction. I hope these have been helpful. We may be adding more to the website. I thought before we did this that I was done. But I just felt a responsibility because I've seen what it has meant in my life and what it has meant in other people's lives. When you understand that all along you have been in control, but you've never exercised that control, then that is the beginning of true understanding, true knowledge, and maybe for the first time finding yourself on the brink of wisdom. 30 years ago, when I started doing this and I started studying, I had a friend of mine that I helped move along the path, and he said to me, "Joe, this is not just knowledge. This is wisdom. It has to be looked up at that in that way, and you have to begin to progress and to understand and to grow. That growth, that speed, that degree of evolution, that speed of evolution on a spiritual level, on a mental plane, is all up to you. Who are you going to be? How are you going to act? What are you going to become? You are an incredible being. You have an incredible future. It lies before you, and its creation is up to you. It is all in your hands. What more could you ask for? The will to do it.